Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Here we are in Russell Square Park again.
Yeah. Gotta get out when you can when you're locked down in the middle of winter.
Lockdown.
Anyway, it won't be long before it's dark. So,
Okay.
read.
So it's
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
That's some hooligans on the bench next to us. Okay.
So it's Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 8, and the chapter is The Lord in the Heart. So Text 8. Others conceive of the personality of Godhead residing within the body.
Okay.
Text 8, no?
O learned Brahmin.
Oh.
That's chapter 2. Okay. What are you gonna do, you know? Take what you get given in life, innit?
Nunam Bhagavata Brahma.
This O learned Brahmin.
Oh look, I did mark the page, see? O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful, and they appear inconceivable, because even great endeavours by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Purport. The acts of the Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful, and there are innumerable universes, and all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. And this part of his creation is only a fractional portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as a part only. Ekam sena stito jagat. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of his energy, the remaining 3 parts consist of the Vaikuntha Jagat, or spiritual world, described in the Bhagavad Gita as Mad Dhamma, or Sanatan Dham, or the eternal world. We have marked in the previous verse that he creates and again winds up the creation. This action is applicable only in the material world, because the other, greater part of his creation, namely the Vaikuntha world, is neither created nor annihilated. Otherwise, the Vaikuntha Dham will not have been called eternal. The Lord exists with his Dham. His eternal name, qualities, pastimes, entourage, and personality are all a display of his different energies and expansions. The Lord is called Anadi, or having no creator, and Adi, or the origin of all. We think in our own imperfect way that the Lord is also created, but the Vedanta informs us that he is not created. Rather, everything else is created by him. Narayana Paro Avyakta. Therefore, for the common man, these are all very wonderful matters for consideration. Even for great scholars, they are inconceivable, and thus such scholars present theories contradictory to one another. Even for the insignificant part of his creation, this particular universe, they have no complete information as to how far this limited space extends, or how many stars and planets there are, or the different conditions of those innumerable planets. Modern scientists have insufficient knowledge of all of this. Some of them assert that there are 100 million planets scattered all over space. In a news release from Moscow dated February 21st, 1960, the following piece of knowledge was relayed. Do you know?
Russia's well-known professor of astronomy, Boris Vorontsov-Vilimenov, said that there must be an infinite number of planets in the universe inhabited by beings endowed with reason. It could be that life, similar to that on Earth, flourishes on such planets. Doctor of Chemistry Nikolai Zerov, covering the problem of atmosphere on other planets, pointed out that the organism of a Martian, for instance, could very well adapt itself to normal existence with a low body temperature. He said that he felt the gaseous composition of Martian atmosphere was quite suitable to sustain life of beings which had become adapted to it.
This adaptability of an organism to different varieties of planets is described in the Brahma Samhita as Vibhuti Binam, i.e., each and every one of the innumerable planets within the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere, and how advanced the living beings on each planet are in science and psychology depends on the atmosphere. Vibhuti means specific powers, and Binam means variegated. Scientists who are attempting to explore outer space and are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements. Hi, Manta. Hope you've done all the LCVS service, by the way, so they're watching Facebook.
Come on, let's see. I didn't know her middle name was Lakshmi.
Yeah, Lakshmi. She's got loads of money. Scientists who are Scientists who are attempting to explore outer space and are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements must know for certain that organisms adapted to the atmosphere of Earth cannot exist in the atmospheres of other planets. Easy journey to other planets. One has to prepare himself, therefore, to be transferred to a different planet after being relieved of the present body, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 9:25. Yanti deva vrata devan pritin yanti prite vrata bhutani yanti bhutyajinam yanti madhyajino ma pimam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors will go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me.
Maharaj Parikshit's statement regarding the workings of the creative energy of the Lord discloses that he knew everything of the process of creation. Why then did he ask Shukadeva Goswami for such information? Maharaj Parikshit, being a great emperor, a descendant of the Pandavas, and a great devotee of Lord Krishna, was quite able to know considerably about the creation of the world. But that much knowledge was not sufficient. He said, therefore, that even greatly learned scholars fail to know about that even after great effort. The Lord is unlimited, and his activities are also unfathomed. With a limited source of knowledge and with imperfect senses, any living being up to the standard of Brahmaji, the highest perfect living being within the universe, can never imagine knowing about the unlimited. We can know something of the unlimited when it is explained by the unlimited, as has been done by the Lord himself in the unique statements of the Bhagavad Gita. And it can also be known to some extent from realized souls like Shukadeva Goswami, who learned it from Vyasadeva, a disciple of Narada, and thus the perfect knowledge can descend by the chain of disciplic succession only, not by any form of experimental knowledge, old or modern.
Text 9. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature, or simultaneously expands in many forms, or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. Text 10. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord, and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms non-different from one another. And although he is the original person, he is still ever young with permanent youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by his pure devotees.
The expansions of different forms of the Lord, as from Krishna to Baladev to Sankarshan, from Sankarshan to Vasudeva, and from Vasudeva to Aniruddha, from Aniruddha to Pradyumna, and then again to the second Sankarshan, and from him to the Narayan, Purusha avatars, and innumerable other forms which are compared to the constant flowing of the uncountable waves of a river, are all one and the same. They are like lamps of equal power, which kindle from one lamp to another. This is the transcendental potency of the Lord. The Vedas say that he is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from him, he still remains the same complete whole. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. As such, there is no validity in a material conception of the Lord produced by the mental speculator. Speculator. Thus, he remains always a mystery for the mundane scholar, even if he is vastly learned in the Vedic literatures. Vedeshu Durlabam Madurlabam Atma Bhaktau. Therefore, the Lord is beyond the limit of conception for mundane learned scholars, philosophers, or scientists. He is easily understandable for the pure devotee because the Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 18:54 that after surpassing the stage of knowledge, when one is able to be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, then only can one know the true nature of the Lord. One cannot have any clear conception of the Lord or His holy name, form, attributes, pastimes, etc., unless one is engaged in His transcendental loving service. The statement of the Bhagavad Gita that one must first of all surrender unto the Lord, being free from all other engagements, means that one must become a pure, unconditioned devotee of the Lord. Only then can one know Him by the strength of devotional service.
Maharaj Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Sukadeva Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Sukadeva Goswami vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. A powerful devotee of the Lord is by the grace of the Lord more than the Lord himself. The personality of Godhead Sri Ramachandra attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka, but Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. The Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotee that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvas Muni, although the Muni was so powerful that he could reach the Lord directly under material conditions. But Durvas Muni was saved by Maharaj Ambarish, the devotee of the Lord. Therefore, not only is the devotee of the Lord more powerful than the Lord, but also worship of the devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Mad Bhakta Puja Biyadika.
Mad Bhakta Puja Vyadika. That's the famous statement. The worship of my devotee is higher than the worship of me. The conclusion is therefore that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who not only is well versed in the Vedic literatures but is also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. Without the help of such a devotee, spiritual master, one cannot make progress in the transcendental science of the Lord. A bona fide spiritual master like Shukadeva Goswami does not speak about the Lord only in the matter of his internal potencies, but also explains how he associates with his external potencies.
The Lord's pastimes in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavan, but the works of his external potency are directed by his features of Karana Dakshay Vishnu.
Did you say Karana Dakshay?
No, I just...
Yeah, she's trying to fudge it over, man.
It's a typo.
It's not a typo. That's a different
Karana Navasai. I've never heard of that.
I've not either. I made a note of it. So it's best not.
Have you heard of it?
Karnavasai. Karna Navasai.
I've never heard of that.
Karnavasai. Yeah, I made a note of it.
Alright.
It's a different spelling for Karna Dakshay Vishnu.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a spelling, it's obviously a different name.
Gabo Dakshay Vishnu and Shira Dakshay Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur offers his good counsel. Look, she ain't heard of it either.
Yep.
Like she would know.
Very good. Carry on, please.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur offers his good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about the Lord's activities in Vrindavan like the Rasa Leela, but must be keenly interested in his pastimes, in his features of the Purusha avatars in connection with Srishti Tattva, creational functions, following the examples of Maharaj Parikshit, the ideal disciple, and Sukadeva Goswami, the ideal spiritual master.
Yeah, so another statement is made here that the one shouldn't just be interested in the workings of the internal potency of the Lord, which specifically Prabhupada points out here means like the Vrindavan pastimes only, but that actually one should be interested in the creational aspect also of the Lord, so how the Lord moves with his external energy. So it's really interesting because sometimes people will criticize that, Bhagavad Gita is low level. Why read Bhagavad Gita? Why study Bhagavad Gita? We should read the books of the Goswamis, which are all Rasa Tattva. But it's very clear here that actually the previous acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Jiva Goswami, these exalted personalities, they say that we should be able to see Krishna in both and relish both equally also. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like we naturally gravitate to that which we can relate to. So in the first instance, so like the pastimes, what we see, the stories, his friends, his mum and dad, the girlfriends, boyfriends, and then only a certain type of person who's on some certain type of intellectual level, scientific level, this will gravitate to certain parts of the Bhagavatam, be like, wow, that's amazing, life comes from life, or perfect question. But naturally we go, like if you look around this part, look, you see a mother and son throwing a ball, you see an old couple, you see friends. The living entity is drawn towards interpersonal relationships. That's why we were created. So it's like, but like, as Prabhupada said, it's perverted here, and as he also says, you won't understand what's been said in the later parts of the Bhagavatam because it isn't on the level that you get it, and then you will be completely bewildered. So you need to work through it to get to that stage.
Yeah, first we have to understand and accept God's greatness through the principle of understanding supreme creation. Yeah, not just in a word sense, because otherwise, you'll mess it up for yourself and others. Yeah, jump ahead too quickly. Yeah. It's like coming up from a submarine or even going down. You have to go down levels and wait like that. So. Okay, text 11. Sutta Goswami said, when Shukadeva Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus. Purport. The devotees of the Lord, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of the Lord, do not think that they can do anything independently. They think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak by the Supreme Lord, the master of the senses. The senses of the individual being are not his own. The devotee knows that such senses belong to the Supreme Lord, and that they can be properly used when they are employed in the service of the Lord. The senses are instruments and elements. The senses are instruments and elements are ingredients, all endowed by the Lord. Therefore, whatever an individual can do, speak, see, etc., is under the direction of the Lord only. The Bhagavad Gita 15:15 confirms this. Sarvashichaham Vriddhisani Vishto Mata Smirtir Gyanam Apohanam Cha. No one is free to act freely and independently, and as such one should always seek the permission of the Lord to act or eat or speak. And by the blessings of the Lord, everything done by a devotee is beyond the principles of the four defects typical of the conditioned soul. And what are the four defects?
Prone to make mistakes.
Prone to make mistakes.
Imperfect senses.
Imperfect senses.
You can do the other two. Illusion. Wow.
Illusion. Yeah.
Wow. I got an audience here. A one.
Prone to make mistakes.
Yeah.
No, you said that. And the propensity to cheat.
Yes. Yes.
So imperfect senses, prone to make mistakes, prone to be illusioned, and propensity to cheat. Those are the four defects. So it's saying here that If a devotee tries to act or eat or speak, recognizing the Lord, as Shukadeva Goswami does, that before he explains the creation, he takes the opportunity to meditate and remember Lord Shri Krishna, and then he begins his narration.
Text 12. Sukadeva Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the creation of the material world accepts the three modes of nature. He is the complete whole, residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable." Purport. This material world is a manifestation of the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, and the Supreme Lord, for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world, accepts three dominating forms as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankara, Shiva. As Vishnu, he enters into every body materially created. As Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he enters into every universe. And as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, he enters the body of every living being. Lord Shri Krishna, being the origin of all Vishnu tattvas, is addressed here as Parapuman, or Purushottam, as described in the Bhagavad Gita 15:18. He is the complete whole, the Purushavatar.
The Purusha avatars.
Oh, no, because it's split up. Look.
Yeah, they didn't even...
Look, that's not right. They didn't split it at the right place. Purusha avatar, no.
She was correct. Definitely correct.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
the Purusha avatars, yeah.
Right, therefore...
Sorry,
No, we're filming us, not that way.
going that way.
We are indeed. Thank you, though. Thank you for asking. That's very considerate of you. Purusha avatars. Carry on, please.
The Purusha avatars are therefore his plenary expansions. Bhakti Yoga is the
Strange contrivance.
Bhakti Yoga is the only process by which one can become competent to know him. Because the empiric philosophers and mystic yogis cannot conceive of the personality of Godhead, he is called Anupalakshya Vartmane, the Lord of the inconceivable way, or Bhakti Yoga.
That's an interesting. He is called Anu Palakshay Vartmane. Vartmane means path or way. Anu means, usually Anu means like to follow. The Lord of the inconceivable way, or Bhakti Yoga. Needs more exploration, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so one more, and then we hit the road.
Yes.
That long one? Oh, it's very long.
Okay.
So we'll call it a day.
Yes.
Quite long purport.
Thank you for watching.
So I think we did 25 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Santarai Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Merci.